Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Humanly Speaking, where we explore learning, leadership, and the human side of workforce transformation. My name is Kuljit, your host for today. I'm the founder and the CRO of Disprz.ai, a learning tech company that empowers and uplifts close to about 3.5 million users globally. For me, learning is just not another skill, it's a personal force which actually transformed and uplifted me from a very basic living in Mumbai to being a founder of Disprz that I am today. This podcast is my way of learning from some of the bright minds who are futuring the future of work in workforce transformation. I'm very thrilled to welcome our first guest, Tulip Sen. She is a senior HR leader with deep expertise in learning and talent management. Personally, for me, what differentiates Tulip is the quote and the philosophy by which she lives by. It says, there is strength in differences and comfort where we overlap. Tulip grew traveling across India, where she was exposed to the beauty of diverse culture very early on in her life. She started her career as an HCM tech consultant, transformed to an HR business partner, and today she leads learning and talent management for one of the leading organizations in the world. Tulip, welcome to Humanly Speaking. We are so happy to have you. Tulip, let's start from the beginning. One of the reason we've titled our episode and we called it Growing Beyond Comfort because it revolves around the philosophy that you have. Tell us a little bit about your early experiences in life, about the diverse culture that you experienced, how it has transformed you as a person and as a leader.
So Kuljit, as in your introduction, you said I traveled a lot in my childhood. So my father was in a transferable job, and we would be in a city for about couple of years and then move, right? And hence I was put into Kendriya Vidyalaya. Uh, Now the beauty of that school was that we had children from different regions, different religion, different economic background, and we beautifully coexisted, learned together, and I think that instilled a very deep belief that people can contribute very uniquely. They have very different strengths that they bring in, very different worldviews that they bring in, and that creates an environment which is so diverse, which has diverse perspective, and finally that leads to something very beautiful, sometimes very what you today will call innovation, right? So yeah, I think that's why that whole philosophy that there is a strength in the diversity, and there's comfort where there's commonality and where we overlap.
So is that the reason, you came from, you met with different culture, different people. You started your career as a tech consultant and then moved into HR business partner. What actually drove that? Do you ever look back and see that was that the right decision? Would love to get your thoughts on that, Tulip.
Yeah. So Kuljit, I think lot of my role changes, some were by choice and some because I was forced into, right? So my educational background is I'm an engineer, and then I did my MBA. So HCM consultant was something which was very natural, and I enjoyed that for a couple of years. And then the opportunity of HR business partner came to me, and I was like, why not? Let's take it. But that required a very different skill set. I'm a very quiet person, I like my corner with my laptop, numbers, analysis, those are very natural to me. So HR business partner was a role that just put me in a space which was very uncomfortable for me. You know, you had to talk to multiple stakeholders, very difficult conversation. There were those conversations which had a lot of conflict in it, a lot of addressing a huge number of people, you know, and that was something which I was not ready for. You know, I did not have that skill, and I think at that point I had my manager as my mentor also. She kind of pushed me, opened up a lot of opportunities for me, believed in me, and that instilled a lot of confidence, you know. And also a lot of I had to change myself and really push myself to have those conversations, to address lot of people, thousands of people, you know. So
You know, it's
yeah,
interesting.
it's
You and me are very similar. You know, I'm a very numbers guy, very analytics person, very left-minded person. I take a lot of discomfort in interacting with people, having difficult conversations, and I think, you know, that brings very close to the title that we are talking about. You know, growing beyond the comfort. I think this year personally, for me it's very difficult to come in the front of camera. This year I took two decisions. You know, I said that, you know, I'm going to get into front of camera more often so that I can learn becoming discomfort in the situation. And second is, you know, in the gym I'm trying to do double unders. So those are two goals for me personally this year. Very interesting, Tulip. You know, personally for me, I've had a lot of failures in life. One thing I always do is every time I fail, I reflect back and see what went wrong and how do I make sure that I don't make those mistakes again in future. And over a period of time, sometimes I reflect back is what made me successful. And one skill that keeps coming back to me is about grit. And I believe that people who are successful, it's grit that stays with them. Love to hear your experiences. Now, what are the failures that have stayed with you even today, that have shaped you as a leader that you are today, Tulip?
so Kuljit, I think life. I mean, I had lot of failures, and so when I look back, failures are so they were like those opportunities I learned from, you know, and they were never permanent. It was never that I could not get up from that failure, right? And so if I have to tell you a situation
Give
or
us a story, you know, love to hear that.
yeah. So something which I still remember, you know, in one of my previous organization, I had to completely change the performance management system. We were at that time moving away from the bell curve.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had to completely transform it, and we were doing it for a very large organization, so large number of business, lot of people, and so it took a lot of time to really think through, get those you know, features and those aspects in our system, uh, and when we did the pilot after good 6-7 months of hard work, the feedback was not that great. It did not take off the way we wanted it to be, and there were, you know, so the feedback was so we made a system that was too complex for people. We thought, oh, we have given it a lot of thought, we have made a system which is very robust, you know, we have success profiles for each role and all of that, but that made people you know,
Very anxious.
run away from that system. And well, that was in a way not a start that I had expected. And as I said, I love diversity. I love to experiment. I had a trainee who was very promising, very talented. And I said, you know, find out what's the reason. Do your focus group discussion and see what's the problem. And she spoke to a lot of people. She spoke to those trainees which we initially missed. We did not even speak to them. And with those feedback, we changed a lot of user interface and all of that. And it took us another, 8 months, 9 months, and finally it took off. So, I feel failure is very transient. It's not permanent. You fail. You just have to see why, and if we can fix that why, I think it picks up. We had to give time. So
No, it's interesting when you were talking about that story. The one story that kept coming in my mind was, my co-founder and me created a company before Disprz. And we had created a very interesting technology that networked all tablets within a classroom. And it felt magical, you write here and used to come in another tablet, it used to come in the classroom. And my co-founder and me thought that we created something beautiful. But we couldn't monetize it. No one wanted to buy it. Because it was, good to have. It was not must to have.
right.
And, we couldn't scale that business. That business got shut down. And I still remember, when the business got shut down, me and my other co-founders were actually sitting in a coffee shop in London and saying, "Bas ho gaya. Abhi job mein jate hain. Let's get back to earning some money." And, we said, just because we failed, we can't give in. And, I'm so happy that we didn't take that decision. Today, we are running Disprz for the last 10 years. And it's the best experience that we had. So I think we should just not give in to the failures, actually. I'd like to go to the next topic, which is very, very close to my heart. You did talk about hyper-personalization in L&D. That's something that we promote to our customers. I want to understand from you, how close are we achieving true hyper-personalization within the organization?
So I think a lot of organizations are already they've started that journey, because if I look back couple of years back, I mean, if you look at when we are onboarding employees, right, the way we onboard a trainee and the way we onboard a leader and way we onboard a finance person and a techie, they all they need to have different experiences. While we are today, having the same experience for them, but imagine the future where they all have a very personalized experience. They all feel very seen, and that is going to make a huge difference. So even in learning, right, while manually you can do to some extent that differentiation and that the exact gap, but the AI will hugely save a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the accuracy that it will bring in. So I think I'm very excited about the whole, and I see a lot of organizations already using AI, and but yeah, we also have to be ready as an organization with the kind of data that is required to go in.
Yeah. So very interesting, when you were talking about the onboarding experience, I'd like to share one of the use case on onboarding. We have a large pharmacy store who uses our platform, and they have close to about 6,000 store employees in every store of theirs. And you talked about an onboarding use case, and they actually truly hyper personalize that journey. The way they did that is they used to get cohort of about 200 to 400 people on a fortnightly basis. They use this solution to identify how they are learning on a daily basis, and they were actually giving them some points. So for example, you attend a classroom, you completed the module, the manager feedback, the buddy feedback, you going and talking to the store employee. Every time they were giving points, and what they were doing is they said, using a model, they decided if someone reaches 300 points, it basically means he's ready for the job.
Oh.
So rather than making him go through a 90-day journey, they were actually able to get people to the store within 45 days. And that's truly hyper personalization, not just in a function, but just seeing how people are learning on the field, and if there are fast learners, move them to the store fairly quickly. That's quite interesting. We'll go to the third section, which is, very, very favorite one of my marketing head. This is rapid fire.
No.
So I'm going to ask series of questions to you.
Okay.
The first thought that comes in your mind, just say,
Sure.
a book or a resource that changed your life.
A book. Me, myself, us.
Interesting. Okay. One skill that every HR leader must master in the next 1 year.
Unlearn and relearn.
Okay. Interesting. What motivates you outside of work?
Oh, I think experiences.
Okay. What kind of experiences?
Traveling, because that's also learning, right?
Yeah,
You just so I think that whole mindset of learning. So everything that you do, you learn something. So yeah.
If you were not an HR person, what would you be doing?
I think I would have been a sportsman.
Is it?
Yeah, I love playing badminton. At one
Wow.
point of time, I wanted to be a badminton player.
Wow. What is your favorite question to ask in an interview?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I think I ask, why should I take you?
Okay.
What's your, uniqueness?
Okay.
that
The
you
question
bring?
I ask is, how would your mother describe you?
Oh, oh, she would say, she still doesn't listen to me.
Yeah,
I
that's
think that
everyone.
would be her.
The last one. Describe your leadership style in one word.
Coaching.
Okay. Okay. That's it, Tulip. I had very interesting conversation, and I'd like to say that thank you for being very, very open. I think you were very honest. You were very, very yourself. And at least one thing that I took from this conversation was, your philosophy around learning through discomfort. I think that's one thing I'm going to take away. And to all our listeners, if you liked whatever we spoke about, if it triggered some thought in your mind, do subscribe to this podcast. Share it with your family, friends, colleagues, and also do check out Disprz.ai. We have some very, very amazing learning resources over there. Closing the first podcast of Humanly Speaking. Keep learning, keep growing, and more importantly, be human. Thank you so much.